Last time on New Hope. Before the series took a long break, we witnessed the Z-Fighters fall to the perfect android during the Cell games. Due to his own hubris, however, Cell left Krillin alive to pick up the pieces of what was left of his life in the world he knew. Unbeknownst to the villain, not only would the Earth's strongest human train to become even stronger than ever imaginable, even recently be converted into an android himself with the help of Bulma, but Goku also left behind a son, with Cell returning to rid the universe of every planet possessing the Dragon Balls, and a much more angsty Goten training in the Room of Spirit and Time. Krillin knows it's time to face this threat here and now. This is part 6 of an ongoing series and was created by DB New Hope and funded by members and patrons of Mondo Cool. Support the author and catch up fully using the links below. Facing off with Krillin after receiving a surprise kick from the Earthling, Cell urges him to rejoice today, for the time has come for him to finally join his friends in the afterlife. He better be sure not to forget to give them his best. You know, in memory of the good old days. It feels like forever since he himself got to see the old, dead gang. It must feel even longer for him. Surprising the villain yet again, Krillin actually agrees. Cell can't imagine how impatient he is to be with him again. When he is, they can all reminisce of the time Gohan pounded Cell's face into a bleeding, contorted mess of what it once was. A face that was so full of fear, as a mere child beat him senseless. Which is clearly not the passive response the android was expecting, silently staring forward in frustration. He makes his way to the ground so they can continue this little chat face to face. Letting his emotions emerge, Cell hisses for this insignificant pest to mind his words. Has he already forgotten how pathetic he looked the last time they met? He was crawling at his feet, crying over the loss of that useless Android 18. He remembers, right? Though this is enough to anger Krillin too. He tells himself to calm down. He can't take Cell on by himself yet, so he has to buy some more time for Goten. Given his present demeanor, Cell figures that's all it took for him to return to his cowering self. Just a little refresher. The Earthling tells Cell he's curious about something. Cell has been terrorizing the entire universe for 13 years. Surely he's been to many places and fought many warriors. In all that time, has he met even a single one who was strong enough to face him? Who admits the universe is vast and full of civilizations. However, they are only as formidable as their greatest weakness. He devastated many galaxies, eradicated thousands of solar systems, killed billions of people. And among them, only a handful of warriors were able to entertain him. To be honest, he could only count them on one hand, and none of them are alive today to testify otherwise. Alas, it was only here where he was ever able to find a true challenge. But look where they are now. And Krillin thinks that's bad too. Things would have been a lot easier if he had never faced a challenge at all, even small ones. Likely fearing anything above a massacre would only make him stronger. It is, however, worth noting, it's unlikely Cell has done much genuine training or received any significant Zenkai boost during his time off world. Of course, if his statements are to be believed. Have the lookout. Already aware of his arrival, Dende and Popo tremble with fear as they listen in on the conversation. This monster brags about the billions of lives he's ended. Dende can't even imagine the atrocities that he's committed throughout the entirety of the universe. Bulma can't believe they managed to find someone even worse than that cretin Frieza. And technically, this one's actually an Earthling. At least more or less. Chi-Chi screeches out wondering why Krillin is just chatting up that cockroach instead of crushing him. But every passing minute matters. For every 10 minutes that passes out here, it's equal to more than 2 days for Goten in the hyperbolic time chamber. As we ourselves take a glimpse in. Goten narrates to himself that he's been in here for almost a year already. Time really flies when you're busy. 2 more weeks and he thinks it'll be about the right time to leave. But first, he definitely needs a haircut. Since entering this room, he's gone further than he ever expected with his training. He really thought he could never be this strong. He wants Krillin to trust that if Cell ever comes back, he'll make sure that it costs the monster his life. Mind you, until this point in the story, Goten only really knows of Cell through the tellings of the remaining Z-Fighters. Krillin then offers another question. What was it that happened in space which made him wish to destroy every set of Dragon Balls? Was it merely a random thought? Or did something happen to inspire this new crusade? Happy to oblige. After he devastated their planet, some witchers tried to find them in order to eradicate him. When Cell heard of their intentions, he tortured them until they revealed all information possible about the power behind those orbs, and where to find them all. To our hero. This means Cell was clearly misinformed about the limitation of the balls. Unfortunately, even if they got the Dragon Balls, their plan wouldn't have worked. Their power is based on the power of who created them. Cell doesn't have to destroy the Earth. If the Dragon Balls could harm him, he would have been sent to hell a long time ago. The protectors of the Earth have heard the song and dance several times before. The dragon won't directly rid them of a villain. While the monster finds this interesting, he doesn't believe that's enough information to dissuade his decision. He thinks he'll do away with this world as planned. And given that hostile welcome Krillin delivered to him, it seems pretty obvious that this time, the Earthling is prepared to face his destiny and disappear along with his dear Earth. Is he right? Going to remove his cloak, Krillin grunts that he's more right than he could ever know. Assuming he was just going to go without resistance, it seems to Cell that the human would like an honorable death. He forgot that here, as laughable as it may be, he's considered to be a great warrior. Either way, he will give Krillin the fight to the death he seeks, the one he refused him many years ago. To make this fun, he will attempt to lower his power to match his opponents. It would be a shame to break his neck with only one punch again. He better not disappoint. With a smirk, Cell has no idea what he's in for. Powering up, the villain can't help but notice that Krillin's hiding his key, even despite powering up. Though he shrugs this off as no matter at the end of the day, unaware Krillin is an android and his key is not able to be sensed at all. He scoffs that at least one of them is taking this seriously. But Krillin thinks the Cell's lowered his strength so much, it'll take him some time to get back to his full power. He couldn't have asked for this much. The after image technique. How ridiculous. Although he's able to catch the invader off guard, Cell's able to use an ability most recognizable as 17's Key Barrier to shield him from the blast. Krillin curses that after all of that, he's already back on his feet. His regeneration ability seems to be even more efficient than before. It's like he never attacked him at all. From what he's saying, it seems like the ability Cell uses to restore his body might now be able to work as an all-around healing factor, healing each individual damaged cell. Though his pride appears as wounded as ever, he snarls at our hero to touch down on the ground this instant. He utters that besides that little brat Gohan, nobody has ever punched him with so much strength. In all of Jiro's research bestowed upon him, Earthlings are completely incapable of such power. He demands Krillin explain what happened to him, who lets out a bit of a scoff at this. He thought Cell was the perfect being. He's supposed to be more perceptive than this. From where he's standing, it seems like it should be pretty obvious. The villain shouts for his useless human prey to stop acting so bold and answer him, or he will kill him right now. But human, Cell is mistaken. The two of them are actually brothers now. They belong to the same family. After a short moment of shocked silence, Cell bellows out with laughter at such a claim. However, it's not that he's in denial of what he's saying could be true, but the irony. Krillin has become what he despises most in the world, an android. How pathetic! The worst part of all of this is that he ludicrously did this with the hopes of defeating him, right? He must know that even as an android, he is nothing more than a miserable insect when compared to his own perfection. However, He does have the feeling that he will be able to entertain him more than expected now. At least enough to not accidentally kill him too soon. Foolishly letting the demon power back up. Everyone above also notices his ki skyrocketing. Bulma can tell with her equipment that his previous power level was nothing compared to what it's reading now. Actually, according to her data, this is close to his full power from 13 years ago, just before he left the Earth. Chi-Chi asks, "This is bad news, isn't it?" before she inquires about Krillin's strength. But that's something she doesn't have the answer to. His energy has been undetectable ever since he became an android. Facing off again, Cell chortles that he's impressed his foe hasn't already run away. Who tells him that he's too confident, and that'll be his undoing. Instant transmission is really a fantastic technique. Don't you agree? Make sure to thank Son Goku for this marvelous gift! Ha ha ha! You missed. As Krillin hits the dirt, Cell can see that he's grown much more resilient over the last dozen years or so. The old Krillin would have been long dead by now. He must have been dedicating every minute of his life just for this inevitably futile moment. But they're just warming up, and he only hopes he hasn't reached his limit yet. Cell still has to pay him back for that little sneak attack from before. Today, Krillin will face a slow and painful death. Getting up, despite his level of new strength, Cell's raw power is still indeed largely superior to his own. Close combat is too dangerous, and it's not smart to try matching him blow for blow like this. Actually, it would be best to borrow one of Goten's tactics. But what could he mean? Krillin gasps that Cell does pack quite a punch. But you know what surprises him more? His lack of speed. He's so slow! While he was able to make Cell take a dip, the biodroid calmly details how Krillin must have regrets that he didn't have this idea before the Cell games. If he were an android prior, he could have easily defeated him. But does he mean the Cell games itself, or simply before he reached his perfect form? He ushers them to get back to land once more. The monster states that his foe was kicking harder earlier. He increased his speed, but it decreased his strength. What an amateur tactic! Is that all he could think of to compete with the instant transmission? But this sort of confuses Krillin. His own tactic doesn't compete with Cell, it surpasses him. Hasn't he realized how abnormally slow his version of the instant transmission is? It's a ki sensing skill. Using it against an opponent like himself, whose ki can't be sensed, is useless. Ironically, this is the opposite tactic Trunks used where he increased his strength but sacrificed his speed. It resulted in complete failure, something Krillin was there to witness. But at any rate, Cell growls that he not lecture him. Vermin needs to know its place. Using his telekinesis, the fiend smiles that his foe is abruptly way less talkative. Did he forget he could do this? Gets over here. trapped, Krillin. I'm going to break your neck. Slowly. As Cell cackles for Krillin not to even bother trying to escape. Our hero smiles that he still has his hands free. Using what he calls the solar flare times 100, blood pours from the villain's face. He screams out in pain from the damage caused to his eyes. That was no ordinary solar flare. His eyes are completely calcinated. That's going to cost Krillin so much more. Blasting him away. Cell's ki is completely gone. The others cheer out in excitement and relief. None of them are getting readings of any kind of Cell's energy. Krillin did it! While in South City, the people there feel a terrible rumbling coming from the ground. Is it an earthquake? And what's that explosion off that nearby island? A couple of these people we recognize, though never had much of a chance to make an impact in the story. When a devastated Cell appears before Mr. Satan. Stammering, he too recognizes this beast all too well. After regenerating, Cell thinks to himself that if he hadn't teleported here in time, that loser would have killed him. That's the second time that worm has forced him to regenerate, which at least mostly debunks the healing factor theory from before. It means Krillin obliterated him early in the fight as well. But now back in full force, Hercule tries to guard his daughter and tells her to get away. The android scoffs that he remembers this Earthling. He was the buffoon who clowned around at the opening of the Cell games. Thanks to his familiar ki, he was able to teleport himself over here just in time. He is truly grateful. As an expression of his gratitude, he's going to offer everyone here a quick and painless death. Energy from Cell's attack making its way back to Krillin. He can't believe he found a way to survive. His energy and vitality seem to be the same as earlier too. Reducing Cell City to rubble, and logically Videl and Mr. Satan too. Cell has had enough of this little game. He is now going to crush Krillin. The others. Dende announces to everyone that the fight has resumed. Though already aware the beast survived, they can't believe how fast he was able to recover. Unfortunately, we can see on a drone monitor that Cell kept true to his word and is quickly beating Krillin down. Roshi can only plead that he hangs on. He's now taking Krillin seriously and not giving him any room to breathe. Dende wonders if he himself should get out there and try to heal him, though Bulma argues that would be a bad idea. There's no way Cell's attention could be diverted long enough to get Krillin back to full health. He would likely be quickly killed as to get rid of the Dragon Balls. Chi-Chi bellows that they need to make their wish and force Goku and Gohan to come back to kill Cell. As they've been saying, this is too dangerous. Cell has been clear about destroying the planet this time. It's all or nothing and they need to. Roshi shouts to her that's enough. They've been relying on the Dragon Balls every time there's a problem. It is now time for Krillin and Goten to be the ones to protect the Earth, not their dead friends. If they all don't learn how to take care of themselves, it takes all the purpose out of what it means to be alive. As a voice calls out, Grandpa Roshi's right. They won't need the Dragon Balls. He's here now. With Goten finally emerging from the Room of Spirit and Time, how much stronger has he gotten while within its walls? Will he be able to save Krillin from certain doom? If so, will they together save the Earth?